Okay, Reese, so today we are going to do a lesson on a book that we talked about once before called Rent a Llama.
Yeah.
You remember we talked about that?
Yes.
So it's written by Susan Lennox, illustrated by David Miles, and the first thing we're going to do is a little bit of a picture walk. Have you done those before? Okay. So we're going to look through some of the pictures, and we come to the first page, actually, yes, some pictures I would really like to look at. What do you see happening in this? Where is Marco? Our main character's name is Marcos, we'll find. And where is Marcos?
In his bed dreaming about horses and llamas and sheep.
Yeah. And what does it look like in the background there?
He's in the country.
Yeah, it looks like he's in the country there. And what about here? What's he doing? Where is he here?
In his bed, and he's in the city.
Yeah, and then behind him it looks like the city. That's right. And in this, he's here. Who do you think this is with him here? What's he doing in this picture?
Mom.
And he's doing what?
Eating breakfast.
Yeah, and how do their faces look in this picture?
Worried and sad.
Yeah, they look kind of worried and sad. And here we come, and there's a picture. We can see a bunch of kids on a playground here next to a school bus. And then Marcos and another boy riding on the school bus. And look what's happening in the distance there and out the windows.
They're going to the country.
Yeah. And here they are arriving somewhere. They get off the school bus. And where are they at? What's back there?
They're in the country?
Yeah, it looks like mountains and trees. And there's a fence like around a field. So, I wonder where they are. What does this look like here?
Looks like he has a cow in his house.
And this picture is a funny picture. It looks like there's a cow sitting on his chair with him watching television. I guess we'll find out what that's about later when we read the story. But what about here?
They're in stalls.
Yeah, they're at a barn, and the animals are in the stalls. And this little box down here with this picture is a llama. And it tells us that llamas are related to camels and that they're native to South America. And that people in Ecuador, Peru, and Chile raise llamas. And here, what do we see Marcos doing here?
He's feeding the llama.
Yeah. How does his face look there? What about his expression?
Really happy.
He does look really happy, doesn't he? And what about here? Last page. What's he doing there? Goodness, you're yawning a lot.
Tired.
Me too.
He's petting the llama?
He is. He's petting the llama. So next we're going to talk about some words that you might come across in this book that you might not be familiar with.
Okay.
So we'll talk about them before so that you'll know what they are. One of them is llama. Now what's kind of different about llama when you look at it? What's kind of funny about it?
It's a horse that looks like it.
No, that's true. You're right. Llamas themselves are kind of funny looking. But I mean the word llama. This is the word llama. Would you notice anything that's kind of different? It has two L's at the beginning.
It's not a floss roll.
Right. It is not. It has two L's at the beginning. And the two L's still just sound like la. So it's still just llama. And this word here is Ecuador. Very good. Ecuador is where Marcos is from, and it's where a lot of llamas are from and live.
And they speak Spanish there.
They do speak Spanish there, and we're going to talk about that too. But we're going to talk about these words here. This is called the glossary. It's at the back of books sometimes, and it helps us to know some words from the book that we may not be familiar with. So this word here is care, which is to help keep something healthy or in good condition in this case. And then club is a group of people who meet because they share a common interest. So you could be in like a club of people who like to collect baseball cards or Pokemon cards, for instance.
I do.
Or play Minecraft. A ranch. You know what a ranch is, right? Can you tell us?
A large area of of land
When you're
with
reading
stables
it,
and
yes,
stuff.
with stables and things, and they raise livestock, right? And shyly means to do something in a timid or fearful way.
Mm-hmm.
Stalls, we talked about those from one of the
Yeah.
pictures. You said the word stalls. And those are spaces in a stable or barn, kind of like a room where the animals live. And the last word is stroked, which means to gently move your hand over something. So it's like petting an animal would be stroking it very gently and nicely. Okay, so one other thing before we start reading, I want to talk to you about our point of view is what we're going to try to be looking for. I'm going to ask you to pause in your reading at one point, and we're going to try to talk about, you're going to tell me what the point of view is. Excuse you. The point of view is, this is who is telling the story. We want to know if it's a first person point of view. You're going to look for some clue words. Words like I, me, my. If it's a third person point of view that it's being told from, you might have a narrator, who is someone who tells the story, and they say things like he, she, his, her, right, they. So the narrator is kind of a sort of a hidden person in the story. They aren't in the story, but they tell the story. So we're going to try to figure out, Rent a Llama, whether it was told from a first person point of view or a third person point of view with a narrator.
Pretend he's like hidden in the cabinet.
He could be hidden in a cabinet watching all this stuff happen, right? Okay, so let's go back and we'll read the book. And I want you to think as we're reading about that point of view, okay? And start right here.
When Marco slept, he dreamed of Ecuador. He dreamed of riding among sheep and llamas. When Marco woke, he worried. Life was so different in America. Would it ever feel like home? Marcos' mother worried too. She wanted him to be happy. Marcos, today is your class trip to a ranch, she said one morning. Marcos said, We used to live on a ranch, Mama. An American ranch will be different, she said. Yes, just like everything else here, Marcos sighed.
That was good. You read that with expression. I liked that.
When Marcos got to school, he saw students excited about the trip. Mr. Perkins chose seat partners for the bus ride. Marcos sat with a boy named Ben.
I want you to pause right here for me. Now, from what you've read so far, have you seen a lot of the words I, and like on this page, do you see a lot of those words we talked about? I, me, or my? Or do you see words like he? Why don't you look on just page 7 here? Don't look at page 8 yet. But just on page 7, see if you see any words that give you a clue.
Narrator.
You think it's by a narrator? Why do you think that?
All of this.
Yeah, because it's calling them by their names instead of saying I. It doesn't say I sat with a boy named Ben, right? It says Marcos sat with a boy named Ben. He saw, right? You are correct. This book there is a narrator telling this story who we don't see, but the narrator tells us the story, so it's a third person point of view. You can continue reading.
Have you ever been to a ranch? Asked Ben. Only in Ecuador, Marcos replied. I go to this ranch every week to care for Mabel, said Ben. Marcos asked, Who's Mabel? You'll see, said Ben. Soon they arrived at the ranch. The class met Mrs. Vega, the owner. "Hello, everyone," said Miss Vega. "And hi there, Ben," she added. Everyone looked at Ben. How did Miss Vega know him? "Ben takes care of Mabel, one of our cows." "Of our cows," said Miss Vega. "I am in city to farm," Ben explained. "It is a club where grown-ups help city kids learn about farms," he added.
Good job. Nice reading. It is here with you.
Ben continued, "I want to learn about cows, but I live in an apartment. I can't keep a cow there," he joked. The class laughed. Ben added, "Miss Vega rents Mabel to me for free, and I care for her." "Let's meet Mabel," said Miss Vega. Ben led the class into a large barn with many stalls. When Marcos looked around, he got a surprise. In a second stall was a llama. Marcos spoke softly to the animal in Spanish. The llama stretched its long neck toward Marcos as if it understood Marcos.
Did you see there? What was that mark right there?
Okay.
What is
Understood.
Yeah, but what is that
Period.
mark? A period. And what do we do when there's a period?
Use pause.
Right.
Kind
Very
of forgot.
nice. That's
I do
okay.
that a lot.
It's okay.
Marcos stroked its fur. Miss Vega watched Marcos. "Do you like llamas?" she asked. Marcos nodded. "See, yes," he replied shyly. "My grandfather had llamas in Ecuador," he added. "Paco came from Ecuador too," said Miss Vega.
We missed a page there.
Oh, this is the last page.
Mm-hmm.
She smiled and asked, "Would you like to help care for him, like Ben takes care of Mabel?" Marcos asked. Miss Vega said, Actually,
Let's take it slow. What word would make sense here?
excellent.
Let's look at what we know. You've got the first part. You said X. Now let's go to the next part. What's this? If you look at the part in the middle there, what's that word? Act.
Actually.
Exactly. Good job.
Marcos hurt saying.
Does Marcos hurt saying make sense?
Heart.
That makes sense, doesn't it? You went back and you made it make sense.
Ranches were different here, but llamas were the same.
Great job. So real quick, why does Marcos seem worried about living in America?
Because it's not like his house.
It's different. But what does he feel about when he meets the Paco, the llama? How does that make him feel?
Right, good.
Why? He said it at the end there. it was different, but what did he say?
He's
It said ranches are different here, but llamas were the same. So why do you think he made him feel better about living in America?
because he has a llama to take care of.
Yeah, he has something that's familiar from home to take care of. That's right. Good job. Good work.